1, 2, 3. Greetings and salutations.
The universe is just doomed.
This is a Christmas show.
Well, Charles Dickens would have wanted to see her nipples then.
You can hardly see them nipples.
See, and these guys are really looking.
Hello.
Nipples.
And yeah, you know, how else you get in the Christmas spirit besides nipples?
Merry Nipplemas.
Yep.
Merry
It's us.
Tipmas. That's what it was. That's what it was last year.
What was it?
You said something else instead of Merry Tipmas and Merry Nipplemas. And that's what
Yes.
became. So now we're carrying on the
Yeah.
tradition of
Merry
Merry
Titmas.
Titmas this year on Doom Generation.
And so we are here to talk Scrooged.
Yep. We got Bill Murray's Endless Hairline for you again.
Liana is here as our ghost of Christmas present. She will be knocking us around if we get out of line.
She's going to knock our dicks in the dirt.
She sure is. Pretty wings and all.
Ooh.
So the Doom Biz.
Give it to 'em.
Call and leave us a voicemail at 702-720-DOOM. Tell us you love us. Tell us you hate us.
I don't care.
Ask us a question. We'll play it on the show. Support this show on patreon.com/Doom Generation. Follow us on Instagram, Doom Generation Pod. And that's, buy our merch, Doom Generation. Threadless.com.
Cool
T-shirts, sweatshirts, bags. I probably should have said this earlier about for Christmas gifts. Because now at this point it may be too late to get them shipped in time. But hey, it's only the 10th.
Whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
Whatever you need.
Buy it for yourself for a Christmas gift.
Yeah. Treat yourself. You know what? This holiday season,
Treat yourself.
treat yourself.
So this is one that's pretty much every year.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I have to watch it all the time
And
because it's hilarious.
I want to say I saw it soon after it came out, like as soon as it was out on video. So the following Christmas,
Or
maybe.
like on HBO or something.
Right.
Maybe.
So I was
'Cause of
maybe
course.
10.
Well,
9.
yeah. I mean, like Bill Murray.
Yeah. My parents didn't.
My
I mean,
parents
they
let me
didn't
watch
watch stuff first to make sure it was okay. So.
No, we just watched it together.
Yeah.
We all found out at the same time.
And so
Well, is it not PG-13? It's not like it's rated R, is it? Is it not?
Is it rated R?
I don't know. Look that up real quick. Christmas presents.
A Christmas
Present us with the truth. But anyway, while you're doing that,
Oh,
Murray.
so I was just going to say, this is one of Tessa's favorite Christmas stories.
is it? Oh, the Christmas Carol.
The Christmas
I
Carol
know,
that it's
because we're
based
doing
off
them
of.
like back to back.
We're doing another story next week,
Mm-hmm.
and you may or may not hear us say, because we recorded these backwards,
That's right.
we might edit it out. We'll see.
We'll see
how
what
lazy
happens.
we are.
Yeah.
So if we say next week, we're going to do it again the week after. No, we're not doing 3
No.
Christmas Carol stories in a row.
No,
But
we're
we
not.
are doing 2.
We are doing two.
Very
back to back.
different tellings.
Ass to ass.
Yes. Oh,
Ass to ass.
I don't know if we'll ever do that one, though.
Oh, that one's real
That's a
depressing.
rough one.
That's what she said.
So, cast.
Yes. Cast list. Bill Murray as Francis Xavier Frank Cross.
And his entire family.
Yes, all his brothers are in this movie. John Murray, Brian Doyle Murray, and Joel Murray.
So he's got John playing his brother James, Brian Doyle playing his father,
And Joel is just
a guy at
party
the party.
goer.
Yeah.
And Karen Allen
As Claire Phillips.
as Claire Phillips, who we knew as Marion. Don't look at it, Marion. Alfre Woodard as Grace Cooley. Our beloved Bobcat Goldthwait as Elliot Loudermilk.
David Johansen, a.k.a. Buster Poindexter, as the ghost of Christmas Past.
Yes.
Carol Kane as the ghost of Christmas Present.
Right.
And Alfre Woodard as Grace Cooley.
Right. I did say her.
Oh, yeah. And
We have Robert Mitchum
yes.
as Preston Rhinelander. And just as a side note, the lady that plays his wife, Mrs. Rhinelander, is Maria Riva, who is the daughter of Marlena Dietrich.
Interesting.
I just found that out. And Mary Lou Retton as herself, playing Tiny Tim. Remember little Mary Lou?
And Lee Majors as himself.
Yes, Lee Majors as himself. John Forsythe as the ghost
Buddy
of Lou
Hackett
Hayward.
and Jamie Farr. There's like randos.
There's a bunch of cameos in this movie. So
because we have our main tale and then we have the movie or whatever.
We have
TV
the special that's going on television while there's concurrent. This actually, you know what? There are 3 Christmas carols going on.
Technically there's the classic Christmas carol happening in this one as well.
So there we go. I get Christmas carol thrice.
Thrice for you.
Merry Christmas to me.
And so we start with some spooky ass Christmas music from Danny Elfman.
I put those haunting la la las.
La, 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 la. It gives me the Beetlejuice cartoon.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. And so we zoom into this idyllic snowy Christmas town. We're in the North Pole.
And it's not a mini town. There's elves and he's incoming. Take cover.
Missiles start raining down on Santa's workshop.
There's a cabinet full of guns and holy shit, it's Lee Majors.
Lee fucking Majors shows
the
up.
$6 million man.
He's there to defend Santa.
You've been a real good boy this year, Lee.
And we see that it's a TV show called The Night the Reindeer Died.
The night the reindeer died.
Followed by Robert Goulet.
Goulet!
Old-fashioned Cajun Christmas.
Hey, it's a special episode after that of Father Loves Beaver.
Yes.
He's probably out looking for beaver.
Mm-hmm. This is the winter schedule for IBC.
You'll love it.
Frank is not impressed.
No.
And he wants to
meeting.
see the Scrooge promo.
He looks into that drawer with the mirror.
Yeah,
like what
to practice
that?
his mean face, I guess, or something.
No, because he kind of smiled into it. I don't know. He does cocaine off it later, I'm sure.
Probably.
That's what he keeps it in there for.
Yeah.
So anyway, he's like, show me the Scrooge promo. It's live via satellite from New York and Scrooge on Christmas Eve. And he's like, oh my God, I hate it.
Yeah, it's just your typical classic Victorian Scrooge.
Guy
only
in
they're
front
solid
of
gold dancers.
Right.
And Mary Lou Retton is Tiny Tim.
Of course, you know, kids love acrobats.
Oh my gosh, does
My
that
kids-
suck?
Right. This sucks. He's like, we spent so much money. Like, this is some BS. Some dude reading in front of a fireplace. Like, what the fuck?
And Bobcat starts speaking up like, well, but hey, it's getting a hell of a response. Like, the people already want to see it.
And he's over there. I fucking miss Mary Ellen Trainor. There she is again.
There she is again.
They're
Mary Ellen Trainor bee. Oh my gosh. So Frank,
anyway, he's like,
Frank tells Elliot he's the youngest president in the history of television for a reason. And then he explains that no, he wants them to be terrified to miss this show.
This has to be frightening. So he wants to
shows-
show them his promo.
His promo.
And it's like, in a world of drugs, murder.
Yeah, it's like watching a bunch of people die from different ways.
Right.
And then it's now more than ever. It is important to remember the true meaning of Christmas. Your life might just depend on it. Mushroom cloud. And like the executives look like they're gonna puke as they leave the office. Like
This looks like the Manson family special.
Yeah, and Elliot. I mean, you got to give it to Elliot.
He tried. I mean, like,
he was the only one with the cojones to stand up to Frank.
and look where that got him.
That's true. That's true.
So anyway, he's
And he
like, if I
does-
could change it in 5 minutes, I'll let you know. Right.
And then we don't want to scare the dickens out of people. And nobody laughs. And he's like, nobody gets me.
Jesus. And anyway, so Grace is like, that guy, he goes up to Grace, like, tell that he's fired.
Right.
Like, clear
On
out his
Christmas
shit.
Eve?
Yes. Oh, thank you. Call accounting, cancel his bonus.
Oh.
What a dick.
And then he takes down Grace's kid's Christmas drawing.
Oh, yeah. After she explains to him, it's a painting from one of her kids. He's like,
Mrs. Claus has 11 fingers. Take this bullshit down.
right? Come on, you fuckface. So then they go over the Christmas list. Some people get a VCR and some people get a towel.
He sends his own brother towels. But meanwhile, he's distracted because he's watching Elliot get fired on the telescope.
He's timing it, how long it takes for him to be cleared out of the building.
But then the boss calls. He's on his way
Mr.
down.
Rhinelander is on his way down, and he seems to be the only person that, like, whose ass
That Frank
Frank
kisses.
has to kiss.
Yeah.
So he's like,
And he wants him to make TV for pets.
right. He's like, do you have any idea how many cats there are in this country? How many dogs?
And his faces during this and
He's
his
like-
faces with Grace back
He's
and
all,
forth
"Call the
are
police."
hilarious. Yes.
Well, that's just that face, that Bill Murray
He's
face
good at
he
those
gives you.
subtle, just a twitch of a
I know.
piece of his face, and it's like a whole different attitude.
Because he's got so much of it.
And you gotta, I mean, he and Grace, they have a unspoken
this-
connection.
But why, Grace? I mean,
she
like,
must have worked for him for a long ass time.
I know, but has he always been like that? Because we'll get
that's
to
my
it later.
guess.
We're like, how could he not know?
I think he's always been like this, and she's worked for him.
I mean, I guess it's a good job, but is it really?
I think she, like Bob Cratchit always does, saw something in him that
Maybe.
was, that there was something worth saving in there.
It's not like he makes her a partner.
No.
Elliot's kind
Yeah.
of the Bob Cratchit.
In a way, yeah. I'm
So
sure
what
it's
the
supposed
fuck?
to be Grace, but yes.
Poor Grace.
Well, we don't know. I mean, it seems like you probably get the same ending really as you get in every other one. He became a second father to little
Decides
Calvin.
no, because they're
and
going
paid
to
for him
fucking
go to-
jail. You know what? Grace gets to take over. Because
After he
Elliot
goes to
sure as
jail.
shit. Elliot brought a fucking shotgun to the office. There's no way in fuck he's getting an office.
I don't
up
know.
there.
If Frank's still in charge, he will.
I don't know about that.
But Preston was pretty impressed at the end with all
He
that.
was pretty impressed.
We're getting way ahead of ourselves. That's the very end of the movie.
Anyhow.
So TV for pets, and he's
Right.
like, "Yeah, you're crazy." And then Bryce Cummings, the guy from Gremlins 2,
Oh God, this fucking guy.
and I swear he plays almost the same character.
Yes, he's like
as the
this
Gremlins
high
2
energy
guy.
douche. He
Uh-huh.
like runs up and hey, yeah,
Remember
I'm just
me? Well,
in
I'm looking
between,
for
like
Preston.
hold the elevator and let's go and whatever. And he's like, hey, Grace, find out everything you know.
I just love that he
About-
tells someone else to slam the door for him. He
Right?
doesn't even
Slam that
his own
door.
But yeah, it has Grace. He's like tells Grace to look up Bryce, and she's like, "I got to take my son to the doctor."
Yeah. And he's like, no, you have to stay. Because if I can't work late, if you can't work late, and I need to work late.
And yeah, he
Like,
does
what
not
an
care.
asshole. Like, not even really, Grace. I mean, like, what? Okay, fine, whatever. I don't
She's
know
like, "Your brother's waiting for you in your office," and he goes in, and him and his brother like go out in the city together.
Well, his brother tells him he was a little rough on Grace. And did you see the wall where there's that shitty text art on the wall? And it was the definition of cross, the thing you nail people to.
yes, I did notice that.
Yeah. I do like this exercycle thing in front of the big window. Although, like, I can imagine if I was actually in a place like that, I'd be like,
Yeah,
I don't
you
want to be
write
that
it
close to the window. No, I think I do, but I don't.
And so they talk about how Frank doesn't like Christmas much, and he's like,
Right.
"No, I do. I love it. It's
Oh,
cold.
yeah.
People stay home and watch television."
They watch TV. And I guess one of these street musicians is Miles Davis.
Really?
That's what it said in a couple of places where I read up on trivia.
Interesting.
One of them is Miles Davis. Yeah.
So James asks him to Christmas dinner, and of course, no chance.
No, he's not going to do it. And then Frank swipes that cab from an old lady.
Carrying presents and everything.
I know. And then she like, fuck you. And then he goes on to receive a humanitarian award.
Yes,
Like, how the
Humanitarian
fuck-
of the Year award.
Who is giving out these awards?
I don't
From
know.
whomstead?
And we see Elliot drunk talking to himself on the street, trying to get a swig out of his brown bag when
Right.
Frank's taxi
Yep.
drives through a puddle nearby,
And then
wets
he
his
gets
bag.
and breaks it.
Yep.
And then he gets out of the cab and leaves a 15-cent tip and goes back to the office and leaves his humanitarian
Yep.
award in there. I guess that was the extra.
And then Grace did get to take her kid to the doctor because
Yeah,
you
it's just
see that
late,
she's on
I
her way
guess. It
back from
seems
the
like
doctor.
It's dark because
and
it's like Christmas time.
he went to go get his humanitarian award. So I guess maybe she was supposed to meet him back at the office. Or
I don't know.
have
But
no
we
idea.
find out that her son doesn't speak.
yeah,
And that's like
That's why
we
she
went
took
to
him
see
to the
the
doctor.
doctor for him to tell us that you don't talk. Like I know that. I don't. We need to know why he doesn't talk.
which we'll find out later. It was a clear reason.
There's
she
a
didn't
really
need to take
good
him to the
reason. We just
doctor
need
to
to-
find the reason.
Find a doctor to help him speak again. Or
So that,
whatever.
yeah, I could see being pissed about that. Like,
right.
but I don't. Yeah, did
I don't
she
know
take
why
him to
she
find
needed
out
to
why
take-
he
why
doesn't
he
talk, or
wouldn't.
just
Well,
make him talk?
We'll make him talk.
Talk.
That's how Frank would do it.
Yep.
So anyhow, there's a knock at the door.
Yeah,
at
Frank's back in his office,
Mhm. He
pouring
goes
himself
back
a
up there.
fucking tab and vodka.
tab.
Gross.
Tab.
Tab and vodka. And I want to say, wasn't that kind of a cheap brand of vodka too?
Stoli?
Yeah. Isn't it? Or is it high end?
Did it
or
have a
is it-
handle? Was it the plastic one or the glass?
No, it wasn't the plastic. It was the
Well,
glass.
maybe it was
Mid-range.
mids. Maybe it was more that. I don't know. I don't buy a lot of vodka.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't buy that kind of vodka. I'll tell you that much.
So somebody knocks at his door, and there's nobody there.
Right, and then it starts to like shake and rattle, and the door's getting pounded.
Plaster's raining down. There's like fist shapes
Yes,
pounding
that's rad
into the
as
door.
fuck. And then the door explodes.
And a very dusty living dead man.
His old rotted ass boss, who he shoots at.
Yeah, in his golf gear. So he comes in to make himself a drink, and
Right.
Frank fills him full of holes. Bingo,
like, "Hey."
bango, bongo.
Hey, watch the Bacardi.
Yeah.
Right?
Be easy on the Bacardi. And so when he goes to take his drink, freaking alcohol just...
I love that gag.
Oh, no, and we can't miss
rat-
the mouse. Yeah,
Oh,
the
that
mouse
pops out
opens
of
a
his head
flap
with the fucking. I guess that was a Caddyshack
reference.
callback or
Okay.
whatever.
So yeah, it knocks a golf ball out of his head to make some space and goes back in.
Right, and he's been dead for 7 years, and I guess he serves the role of Jacob Marley because
Yeah.
he was his old boss, right? Mm-hmm. So he says, he's like, no, I've been poisoned by Russian vodka from Chernobyl. Like, I'm hallucinating all of this. So Lou grabs him and tells him, like, don't waste your life. You can still be saved, but you're going to be visited by 3 ghosts, and the first one comes tomorrow at noon.
He's like, tomorrow's no good for me.
No, I can't do it. So then, like, Lou picks him up and pushes him. I love this one too. Where
Through
he,
the
like,
window, like
puts him
butter.
through the window, and then it like his arm is half
He's
out
trying
there.
to hang onto his arm, and he's like peeling all of the
Oh, it's
rotting
so
tendons
good.
off. Yeah, this isn't really a movie for kids, but
No,
we
it's
were
not.
kids when we watched it.
Hey, I was a kid when I watched it. Therefore, it was the 80s.
He rips
Well, it
this
was the
decaying-
90s by the time I saw it.
He rips the arm off and plummets to his death. Only he wakes
Nope.
up in his office.
Yep.
To
There
the
he
phone
is.
dialing on its own.
Oh shit! It calls Claire.
Ooh, Claire. He leaves a panicked message on her answering
I
machine.
love it when he's like, I know it's been, and he checks his
15
watch.
years.
15 years since I last talked to you. But, call me anytime. My number is 674-9565.
And then he looks around and realizes everything appears fine. And
Right.
it's kind of like, oh, okay, well,
Yeah, so he downs his drink and then he spits out a golf
ball.
ball.
and it keeps
Oh.
bouncing on the table and
Even
he
higher
faints.
than before.
And we see Grace back at home,
Mm-hmm.
and the kids ask about her Christmas bonus.
She's like, I'm drying my hair with it.
What a dick.
Grace.
She hears the
Grace.
kids laughing from another room,
She's like, what are you doing? And they're
trimming the tree.
What tree?
We don't have a tree. We
Oh,
do now.
We do now. And his little face, his little putum. Oh,
Calvin's
he's
all
so
dressed up
cute.
in lights and all.
Take that off of him.
He looks even cuter than last year.
Oh, that's so cute.
When are we
though.
gonna get a real tree?
Well,
When
when I
they're
don't
free?
when I don't have to dry my hair with my fucking Christmas bonus. That's
Seriously.
when.
So Marilyn Trainer brings in the paper the next morning,
Right? Just like we killed somebody.
and he's like, "Yes,
Yes,
Fucking
it's
stoked.
terrific. It worked.
And Grace comes in to tell him he's needed. He shows her this paper and wants this ad run more,
like
but with a
every half
warning about
hour.
heart conditions.
Right. And then we go down there and the censor's like, nah, fam, you can see them solid gold dancers, solid gold nipples.
I want to see her nipples. Charles Dickens would
wants
have
to see
wanted to
those
see her
nipples.
nipples. You can hardly see them nipples.
That was an ad-lib line.
You can hardly see
Yeah.
them nipples.
He just jumped in there.
It's so good. And
And
then
these
the
guys are
censor-
really looking.
Yes, and then the censor gets whacked in the head with the lamppost.
That's hilarious. Then like knocks her out like, oh, get the nurse. And is that Mimi?
That's Mimi from the Drew Carey
That's
show
what I
as the
thought.
nurse.
And they're like, yeah, get the nurse. Make sure her nipples are covered.
Yes.
And someone calls out Lumpy. And he's like,
Looks around
What?
and it's Claire.
who the fuck said that?
Who's calling me lumpy? Somebody about to
Right.
get fired.
Right. And it's Claire.
She got his message, but she couldn't get him on the phone, so she came right down.
Mhm. It sounded like he heard a ghost.
And while they're standing there, the choreographer comes to show Frank the dance.
Come look, come check this out.
And Frank cranks the censor's
Right, can you
freaking
see that?
sprained
Show me
neck
a nipple.
sideways.
Can I move her?
And Claire tells him he sounded like he had seen a ghost.
Right, that was the scared Lumpy.
Yeah, no, you can't fool me. And that's when the guy comes up with the mouse that he can't get the antlers glued.
Right. And
Have you tried
he's like,
Staples?
you better not.
I'll call the Humane
I'll call
Society.
right now. And he was like, oh, Claire,
Trying to save the world.
you still trying to run it? Mm-hmm. Of course he is. And then Frank like, hey, get out of here. She's like, you called me. And then he runs
It's Lil
by.
Calvin.
Oh,
Snatches him up by the collar.
I know. And
like he
now-
was Seth Green.
Ooh. Did he throw this child in the trash can too?
Google Seth Green and Bill Murray.
Wow. There's stories. I'm sure this kid probably didn't have a pleasant experience with him either. He didn't look terrified in this moment.
And he didn't have to interact with them too much. And then the next
That's
time
true.
he's nice to him. So
That's true. But he was acting.
it's true.
He's an actor.
Grace runs up and intercepts. And Claire's like, why are you so angry?
Right. Like what? And he was like, no, I'm fine. It was like a bad clam or something.
And asks about, oh, did I wake up your husband, your kids?
Oh, yeah. Actually, no, I'm still on my own.
Oh, me too.
Oh, hey. Yeah, obviously, Frank. Who would have you?
Yeah, seriously.
We know you're on your own.
Would you hold the goddamn hammering?
Hold the hammering. So they do. And then the whole set falls apart.
Yes.
And
And
Claire
falls on the
leaves.
sensor again.
Gives him the community outreach card and she leaves. And yes, it falls on the sensor again. And then he goes to lunch.
Meets Preston at this fancy restaurant. And they order some highballs.
He brought his own silverware.
He brought gold cutlery, Preston did.
And Socrates is his waiter.
That's right.
It's
That's who that is. It's
Socrates.
Socrates.
It's Socrates.
Socrates. And
He needed one. He was having a...
Preston tells him he's hired someone to work with him because he's spread so thin. And who shows up?
Oh, fuck.
Fucking Bryce.
Well, first he tells him like how it's going. He's like, we're going to switch live from the studio to Berlin where Leroy Neiman is painting the wall. And then we're going to go on over to Africa where the Pope is blessing the entire Zulu nation. And then that's when we have that Dick Bryce. And it's like, oh shit, now it's noon.
Yeah.
And this weird mouth close up. I know it's like Frank is all
Yeah,
he's like, oh, it's you. And then
He thinks he's
Socrates
the
brings
ghost,
the
yeah.
highballs, and he's got an eyeball in the highball.
I didn't ask for an eyeball.
He's like, are you him? And Socrates goes, are you he?
And he realizes no one else can see this eyeball, and he starts like
Right.
twitching. Like,
But then he sees that there's another waiter on fire, and nobody is reacting. So would he not?
yeah. I mean, it's like I think he sort of did know that no one else could see it, but he also thought he couldn't not put the flames out. I don't know.
Why would he all of a sudden not want to see somebody burned to death in a restaurant? Frank seems like the kind of guy.
Puts him off his lunch.
Puts me off my highball
He
eyeball.
didn't drink his eyeball yet.
You have, sir, you've barely touched your eyeball.
And when after he douses him with water, he's like, I'm sorry. I thought you were Richard Pryor. You guys, if you don't get that reference, that's
You're
a burn.
too young for me. Oh! Oh!
So he slips and falls walking out the door, calls for a cab.
He really did fall.
Did he?
Because he threw that
'Cause there
water.
was
He
that
slipped
water?
on the water, yeah.
And they just left it in. It was a good fall.
So, yeah, he goes out, gets into an old cab, and he takes off like crazy because he's feeling hot.
Because it's Buster Poindexter, baby.
Hot.
Relax, Frank. Enjoy the ride.
You know my name?
I'm the ghost.
Yeah, right. He's like, yeah, I know everything about you. I'm the ghost.
So he sees on his little taxi license it says the Ghost of Christmas Past.
Right. And then we see he takes the bottle off of Elliot on the street.
Yeah, the cabbie snatches it and like, why do ghosts fucking with Elliot? Like, it's one thing for Frank to be fucking with Elliot.
Maybe because they're preventing him from like freezing to death in the gutter,
Or
like
they
Herman.
wanted to give him an impetus to do what he does.
Maybe they're trying to rile
They're
him
trying
up.
to rile him up.
They're like, you need to stop spending money on alcohol and go get shotgun shells.
Yep. So the fair clock goes backwards until they arrive in 1955.
Right? They go right through a truck. And he's like, take me home.
And he does. His childhood home.
The only dark house on the block.
Not a Christmas light to be seen.
Nope. He's like, maybe my dad hasn't done it yet. And he's like, it's Christmas Eve, Frank.
And he gets out of that taxi, and damn, that thing was hotboxed to hell. Which is just fucking huge cloud.
I mean, it's hot, hot, hot.
Exactly. And Frank's like, no, this shit ain't gonna work on me. And he says, that's exactly what Attila the Hun said.
But when he saw his mother, Niagara Falls.
And we go in
and
we
he's a
see
child.
Yes, him as a boy, and his dad comes home and throws 5 pounds of veal at his feet.
Right, his mom is pregnant and smoking, and Earl comes home with the 5 pounds of veal for Christmas.
But I
He's
asked for a choo-choo.
go get a job.
Buy a choo-choo. Oh, this is what... Oh, Earl, he's only 4 years
That's
old.
That's
where I'm getting the 4 years old thing.
Okay.
Okay, we'll get to that.
All right.
He's like, excuses.
Right. Like, I'm only 4 years old.
And then Mom, heavily pregnant with little bro, like 8-9 months pregnant, in her dressing gown.
Her kerchief.
She goes out in her kerchief and her cap. She gets up and tells him Merry Christmas, Frankie Angel, and fucking
leaves.
bails.
She's like, I'm going out.
Where is she going? Maybe she
bar.
went to get him a present.
The rusty anchor.
Hopefully she went to get him a present. Well, I don't know.
A choo-choo at this hour.
Merry Christmas to you, Mama.
Oh.
And then
Niagara Falls, Frankie.
Angel. And they leave, and he's like,
Christmas,
I was just touched by the gift of milk-fed veal. Like, that was how much? How expensive did he say that was?
Oh God, I
didn't
don't
write
know.
It down.
It was like $50 or something
$50
like
worth
that.
of milk-fed veal. Mm-hmm. And the angel tells him he spent the next 15 years sitting on his ass watching TV.
Right.
And he starts trying to, no, I did this and this and the other.
Right.
Those are
He's like,
all
that
TV
was
shows.
Television shows. That was like My Three Sons, and that was like a cable guy moment.
Yeah. Take me to my office. Gladly.
Right. And then they shoot forward to 1968. His office used to have the biggest Christmas party in the industry,
Which
until
stopped when
he took over.
And
So-
then Tina's making photocopies of her ass.
Of a race. And Frank asks, she asked Frank if he wants to go out for some Chinese food. And he's like, no, you can't eat that stuff. It's a real bummer. They're like cutting up alley cats and putting it in the whatever. Like, you shouldn't eat that stuff.
And he's like smacking himself in the head. Like,
get back there.
what am I doing? And he's like,
Not
not
that one, Frankie.
Year ahead, 1969. No, not yet.
Not-
No, that
not
night.
yet. That night. He leaves the party and he gets hit in the face with an open door.
He sure do.
And it's Claire, and she tells him that's going to be quite a lump.
That's how he got his nickname.
And then they bonk heads again, going to pick the things up, and it's like his laugh is so good, like that.
And so she's like gonna just leave, and he's like, "Well, wait, do you want to go to a party?"
No,
Nah.
not really. He's like, no, me neither.
And then
He's
he stops
like, "Young
her
lady."
again. Yeah.
Do you shop here often? Because I could walk on the other side of the street. Brum-bum-bum.
And then she asks him to go get Chinese food, and
He's like, uh-oh.
I'm assuming they do.
They do.
And then it's a year ahead, and then she's living the dream life,
Smoking a joint in a tub, like
surrounded by candles on Christmas
the
Eve.
plants.
Hell yeah.
My
She knows how to
maximalist
live.
dream.
And he's all excited like a kid because he didn't have good Christmases
he didn't
as a
have
kid.
a good Christmas, so
But his gift for her, the Ginsu knives.
I know. Well, they're
He
super
tried.
sharp. It's a good gift. He never liked a girl enough before to get her 12 sharp knives.
Yeah, but the cabbie's looking at him like,
I know.
really, bro?
Whatever. She gets him the Kama Sutra.
She gives him the gift of the Kama Sutra. And he goes through, did it, done it. Buddy of mine did this. Now this is impossible. Come on.
That's funny. This says you could touch a place on a woman that makes her bark like a dog. Oh, cute. And then we go
1971.
where he is a dog. He's Frisbee the dog in the Frisbee show.
It's a bone.
It's a bone.
It's a bone.
It's a bone, you lucky dog.
The boss shows up and wants Frank and his girl to come to dinner with them that night, but it's Christmas Eve.
Yeah, they're going to go to like Palm Springs or some
They've
shit.
had plans with friends for a month.
I know. And she's like,
He tells her it's Christmas time to be a little less selfish.
I know. And she's like, well, maybe we should split up for a little bit.
And he like obviously doesn't get what she means by that. Like he thinks
He's like,
tonight.
okay. Yeah. Like, all right, fine. I'm going to go back to work. And then she just leaves.
Yep.
He's like, you left Claire for Frisbee the dog?
And then suddenly the ghost is up on the monitor.
He leaves him and he's back on the set of the show.
And he's in current time watching the Scrooge rehearsals. He starts yelling at all the actors.
Oh, I'm back, Jack.
And he's convinced now that Claire couldn't be so good. She has to be hiding something.
Right? He's like muttering all the way downtown like he's not even lonely.
And before we get to Operation Reach Out, we're going to take a quick break.
Outreach, reach out.
Be right back. All right, one thing you guys may not know about Doom Generation Podcast is we are some cheapskates.
Dude, we do not like to spend the coin at all.
So when we were about to do this podcast, we did some major searching into what is the cheapest way.
We did more research into how to do this than
We do
into
for
our
the
podcast.
And let me tell you what, this Anchor is like the only free platform that distributes your podcast for you to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and a whole bunch of other places.
You can do all kinds of stuff when you're doing it too. You can record your sound effects, you can manage your episodes, and you can track your little analytics.
Yep, you can see where everybody's listening from, how often they're listening.
From your phone, from
Yep.
your computer.
You
Like
can
we
record from
probably
your
still
phone.
would not have had any episodes out.
If it were not for Anchor, this
if it were not for
podcast
Anchor,
would
we
not be in your
we
ear
would
holes
still-
right now.
No, it would not. We would still be just recording it for ourselves.
Yep, listening back to ourselves
Laughing
in the
at our
garage.
own jokes.
So if you would like to have a podcast, but you don't know if you want to spend any money, you need to go get this Anchor app or go to anchor.fm and get started now.
And we now return you to your regularly scheduled programming.
And we're back.
We're back, and Frank is heading down to the outreach center.
Raving at himself on what to say on the way over
Elliot's selling blood,
for money because he's not having a good day.
and he's passing right out in the garbage because his blood alcohol is probably...
Yeah, and he hasn't eaten, I'm sure.
Well, he could probably get like super drunk now with that.
Hell yeah. All low on
All
blood.
he needs is just a tiny little one of those little boot shots.
And Frank says at some point in his ravings, when I want a wife, I'm going to buy one.
Yes.
It's fucking...
I mean, he could. Why not? Like, there's
Especially in
arrangements for that.
1988. Yep.
There's arrangements for that. You find someone that's okay with that shit, that's into that kind of thing, and as long as you pay the bills,
Yep.
then
90
fine.
Day Fiance.
That's fine. I mean, as long as there's an understanding, if it's transactional, as long as everybody's aware, there's no problem.
And so a kindly woman from the shelter comes and wraps him in a blanket and assumes he's cuckoo
Because he's ranting.
and escorts him inside where he meets Herman, Bill, and Ava.
and Mama Fratelli.
Mama Fratelli.
And they think he's Richard Burton. They call
Yes,
him
they're
Dick.
so excited.
And he gives them that Mark Antony, like,
Oh my God.
I swear by the Eiffel swear.
They love it. They're like, yes!
Oh, Dick.
They're so excited.
Yes.
Which, that was just for him to pull that out of his ass.
I know.
Like, that Frank Cross had some fucking
He's
Hamlet.
like, okay, will you
stored up
leave me
there.
alone now?
Yeah.
It was Cleopatra.
Or
He was
Cleopatra,
Mark
there we go.
Antony.
So-
that was the Cleopatra with Elizabeth Taylor
Oh,
and Richard Burton. Oh, it's so good.
So Claire spots him and comes to rescue him.
Yeah, she's like, what are you doing here?
I've been thinking about the past and what would have happened if I made different decisions.
Right, and regret.
And she's like, it's never too late.
Right, you can always, that's the thing about regret. You could always try again and get another chance.
So he wants to take her somewhere for Chinese food, but
There's all these problems. There's no turkeys and there's fuses that are missing. And
if
he's
you
like,
could just
fire these
wait.
people.
Yeah, could you just wait? And he's like, no, fire them.
Right? Like they're volunteers. He's like, yeah, that's because nobody will hire them.
Because they're terrible.
Right. And she's like, it's Christmas. He's like, I guarantee you they're like this all year round.
And he's like, you know what? Don't bother.
Right.
I'm going to give you some advice.
Scrape them off, Claire.
Scrape them off.
You want to save somebody? Save yourself.
Oh, wonderful attitude at Christmas. And he says, bah humbug. It's
Yep.
the only time I think in the
That's-
movie he says bah humbug.
That is very true.
Herman asked him for a couple bucks on his way out the door.
He's like, there's a sucker inside.
He says, I blew it all on Liz.
Yeah, that's right. I blew it all on Liz, which didn't he? Like, that was, I think, who like started her on that diamond thing. Was Richard Burton is the one that like bought her,
Is
like
it?
started buying her all of those.
Her white diamonds.
Not so fast, comrade. These have always brought me luck. It's Christmas time.
not-
time.
We've discussed the white diamonds. It must be almost Christmas.
When Liz Taylor shows up with the white diamonds,
It's time. Ooh. So he goes back on set, and Bryce is running things, and everybody seems happy. He's going along smoothly.
I know.
And
He's calling the shots.
he asks Frank how he's doing, and Frank's like, I want to have a talk. He goes, no, I'm having drinks with Preston.
Right.
And then he shuts down for lunch, and Frank's left on this dark set.
Yep. And there's a spotlight and
Disco
glitter,
lights come on.
bubbles.
And then we see beautiful little Carol Kane in her. And I love this fairy outfit. I love those wings.
She's like meant to be that way.
And I feel like that's her, what she
Yes.
looks like inside.
Yes.
And I don't know if you had one of these, the My Little Pony Pegasus
Yes.
with the switch on the
Yep.
back and the wings were
Yes,
iridescent like this.
And they were like made out of that same material too. weren't they?
One of the ones I had was plastic, but it was
Okay.
iridescent. But
Yeah,
it was
but it was
molded to
that-
be like where it looked like that.
Yes, I remember those.
Yeah. That's what I thought of when I saw those
was
wings.
a deep cut. Wow.
And she's standing next to a sign for
The ball breaker
the
suite.
Ball Breaker Suite. The bubbles begin.
She flies over and kicks him in the
nuts,
balls.
right in the nards.
Oh man, she's the ghost of Christmas presents.
Slap!
Sometimes you gotta slap people in the face to get their attention.
And she tells him to close his eyes.
Yeah,
She
grabs
paints that
his
glitter
lip.
X on
Oh.
the cheek
She tore his lip so bad doing this, they had to like halt production.
from punching him.
Well, from when she grabbed.
Oh,
his
when she
lip,
grabs him by
I
the
guess
lip.
she tore it or something.
fucked him up.
She fucked him up.
Go, Carol.
Well, she was not happy about the violence that she had to.
Oh, that she was supposed to beat him up. She didn't
did
like
not
that.
like that. Apparently, was the thing that I read was she didn't
It
enjoy.
makes it so funny.
She didn't enjoy roughing anybody up because she's Carol Kane.
True. She's so sweet.
I don't
And
know. Is she?
I-
She seems
who
like
knows?
she
She
is.
seems like she would be.
Who knows? She's like probably Joan Crawford under there. Who could say?
Who can say? We'll find out someday. So she puts this glitter X
Someday.
on his cheek and knocks him into Harlem.
Yes.
He tells her, if you touch me again, I'm going to rip your goddamn wings off. And they're at Grace's house,
Yes.
watching through the windows. And he sees Calvin solve this puzzle.
Yeah. They're like all
Great little
trying to
guy.
do the thing. Yeah. What's wrong with him?
He saw his father killed 5 years ago and hasn't spoken since. So now,
He's totally clueless about this. But yes.
number one, he's totally clueless. They're like, you thought she wore black. Or he says, I thought she wore black for a fashion
Yeah.
thing.
She's like, don't you remember that time where she wore black for an entire year?
I
So
thought it was a fashion thing, yeah.
it's been 6 years then. So if he was killed 5 years ago and she wore black for an entire year, so is that 6 years or is that...
I don't know, but this kid can't be older than 6. We've established
Okay,
that,
yeah,
right?
No. I'm high. The math ain't mathin'. Now my math ain't mathin'. Never
So
mind.
it never says how old Calvin is, but unless we have a Webster situation, Calvin is 5 to 6 years old.
I will not take any higher than 6. This
Which
kid
means
is.
he saw his father die at 1.
Which is okay. I mean,
And
I could get.
hasn't spoken since. Was he speaking at
I
1?
mean, like babbling, maybe. Like I'm just saying, the kid went silent. Like the kid no longer made any noise.
And I want more deets.
right? What the fuck?
What happened
And
here?
how could Frank not know?
That sounds like something that would have been in the newspaper.
Right. That they would have come to the office to like question Grace.
She would have taken some time off.
Yeah.
Did he
Like-
not let her take time off? when her
Probably
husband got
not.
murdered? And she has like what, 4 kids at home?
There's a lot of kids there.
That's why her mom was with them.
Well, I mean, like she had to help. What was Grace going to do? He bought her a towel. And a shower curtain before that. I bet you she got the shower curtain.
I would have been surprised in 1988 in the position she was in if she made more than $15,000 a year.
11.5 a year. This isn't worth 11.5 a year. Mm-hmm. I guess maybe that's why she stayed, because she had to, because it was just her.
Well, and maybe she only was like had a high school diploma or
Right?
something,
Like
and her
she,
husband
this was
used
like
to
the
work.
best thing that maybe.
You know, who knows? Well, no, but she
She
worked
worked
there
there
already, so no,
before.
it wasn't that. I don't know, but obviously,
Well,
she
how
has
did her
to keep
husband
the-
get murdered? Like, what happened?
I know. Was it just like on the subway, like a random fucking
Right?
shooting,
Like a,
or
yeah.
I want to know.
I want to know what happened.
So the ghost
They
tells
really
him.
kind of gloss over
Yeah.
this.
The ghost tells him, he asks if he's going to be okay, if Calvin's going to be okay. And she says,
He's
it's
like,
up
well-
to you. Only you can break the spell. Or no, it's
Yeah.
up to him. It's up to
Yeah,
Calvin. Only
'cause he-
Calvin can break the
Right,
spell.
like, because there's nothing wrong with him.
Right. He just has.
He's just-
Well, he's like traumatized.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, yes,
Yeah.
of course, there's something wrong with him. He's been traumatized, but like, there's nothing physically wrong
Keeping
with
him
him
from speaking, right.
Speaking is what I meant.
And the ghost is so excited by the kids bullying each other in the
He
kitchen.
gives him Zerberts.
Zerberts. And she gives him Zerberts on his belly, and he likes it.
Oh.
She's like, next stop, downtown.
Right.
Knocks him down some stairs into his brother's house.
Don't vex me, Frank.
And the brother's girlfriend's name is Wendy, and her name is Wendy Malick, right? That's the actress Wendy Malick.
Yeah, she just kept her name.
From Just Shoot Me. They're like, well,
She's-
you're only in it a couple scenes.
Well, yeah,
so
that's
you
true.
be
She could
Wendy.
be a Wendy. She looks like a Wendy.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And he opens his gift from his brother.
And it's a
VCR.
That doesn't look like a towel.
And Grace sent him the VCR anyway.
Yeah, thanks, Grace.
And she asked when he's going to learn to stop inviting Frank. And
He's
says,
like, never. He's my brother.
Makes a toast to Frank.
Oh, and then they play
Frank's
a
like,
game.
keep the VCR.
Yeah,
what the
fine,
hell?
whatever. It's just money.
It's a write-off. It's tax deductible. So Frank and the ghost.
Well, we also have to remember that these were the times where VCRs were like really expensive.
Yeah, they were expensive.
It wasn't like, now. Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe now. Like, are they? Do they? They
might be
belong in a
expensive
museum.
again,
They're in
yeah.
museums now. I don't know if they're expensive.
get a new one,
I
if it's still a
have
thing?
2 VCRs, and I don't think I have a TV old enough to hook them up to.
That's a problem too.
Yeah. How's that go? What's the VCR market like, guys?
Let us know. So, a brand new one for $485.
Who is making brand new VCRs?
What?
Insane.
Anyway.
Well, that's probably what it cost back then.
So, yeah, they're doing the TV trivia game. And, of course, Frank knows all the answers
Oh,
because
yeah.
he spent his whole life watching television.
Of course. And he's like, the next question is the name of the boat in Gilligan's Island. He's like, how do you not know this? How do you not know?
He must have had a life.
He was too busy finger banging Wendy in the back of his
Yeah.
dad's meat truck.
Truck. Let me get on that roast beef in this roast beef truck. Come on. Come on.
He was fingering her meat. He was giving her his meat and the meat truck.
Sausage and roast beef.
Beef curtains.
So Frank and the ghost engage in some Three Stooges type fighting.
Oh yeah, she does to poke the eyes and they do the thing.
And then she takes a toaster and knocks him into the sewer.
Oh,
where she leaves him alone.
And he finds the body of homeless guy Herman.
Frozen solid with his pocket watch next to his little Christmas tree.
He's like, hey, it's Dick. Liz says hi.
Damn, should have given you the $2, huh?
Right? He's like, you should have stayed with Claire.
She would have taken care of you.
You'd have been a prettier color, I tell you that.
So he finds his way out of the sewer and finds himself back on the set of Scrooge.
He busts through the door, further injuring the censor.
Sending a barrel rolling into the censor. Bryce yells at him to get off set before realizing who he is.
He's like, oh shit, it's Frank. Get him out of here. You're scaring Frank.
And Grace helps him. They've got 3 minutes to air.
Right. So there he's like, you need to wrangle him and take him.
He's like, break a leg, everybody. I feel real weird about tonight.
Yeah. I'm feeling a little weird.
And Grace takes him upstairs and they
Right.
run into the fake ghost of Christmas future.
Right. And that's when he tells him, he's like, stop scaring Frank. It's almost time. Like, get out here.
And then, so yeah, he realizes this is the guy from the show. So he goes up the elevator alone and sends Grace back to watch the show.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't even let her on the
No, so she's not
elevator.
even
He
in
goes
there.
up alone and it's live on IBC.
Mary Lou's over there practicing her cartwheels. And now, is it just me or was Mary Lou Retton not a huge deal when you were a little kid?
Like,
I
felt
feel
like
like
she was
Mary,
like,
you heard the name Mary Lou Retton.
well,
like, a
because we
lot.
watched the Olympics, the
yeah.
LA Olympics. That was the other thing, is because they were in LA at the time. And that
Whatever
was like,
happened to little Mary Lou? What's she up to?
what's Mary Lou Retton up to these days?
And so
Mary Lou, hit us up.
the boss's cats are watching the mice on TV with the antlers. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's working.
And we're live.
Frank opens a gift in his office. It's this frame photo of him and James to Frank.
And is that a real picture of them?
Probably, because they were real brothers, so why not?
Because that kid in the picture looks an awful lot like the kid that plays him.
Oh, so maybe it wasn't then.
But
Maybe
I
it was
mean,
a
I
fake
also
one.
feel like why would they not just get a picture of them as children?
Because they showed him as a kid and they used an actor, so maybe they were like, well, it has to match the actor.
I don't know. Maybe we'll find that out.
And to Frank, the best brother a guy ever had. Like, damn, James, you got low standards,
right? I guess. Well, when you're coming from a household like that.
Maybe maybe mom left and his experience was different. Maybe he got raised by a single mom.
Oh, maybe she did leave in that night.
Maybe
she did leave in that moment, and
but
Frank
would she
was
leave
left.
Frank with the dad and take that? That would be fucked
Frankie
up.
Angel.
Because come on, you can't call your kid Frankie Angel and then leave him with his dad.
She gives him that little kiss.
Yeah,
like
there's no way. She wasn't a total asshole.
She's like, I'm gonna fuck up your life.
Yeah, she's like, guess what? It's veal for Christmas for the rest of your life. Bye. I'll be buying your brother toys.
Yeah, like I don't know, or James like looked to him for.
Maybe she kicked the dad out and he raised James sort of with mom. Like maybe he was a better, bigger brother when he was younger. Because he didn't seem like he turned into an asshole until Claire left him. If we had video right now, you could see that Tessa did in fact reply to me. Oh, Tessa's dying, you guys.
I died.
She dead.
I'm the ghost of Christmas right now.
So back on set, Scrooge the actor, Buddy Hackett, is learning the true meaning of Christmas while Frank is in his office.
The final spirit
Ooh,
is
those
coming.
monitors.
Oh my God, it's like the ring.
Oh, he's sitting in front of all this wall of monitors, and this huge
The big-
Reaper face comes up,
and it's like a fucking Muppet.
It's scary.
But it's scary.
and this huge skeletal hand comes out of the TV to grab him.
But before it can,
Elliot bursts in with a shotgun,
oh, rabbit.
and he's like shooting at the ceiling.
Oh, he's stalking him through the office.
Would you give me a running start?
Yeah.
Sure. Blasting.
1,000 to 1,000.
And Frank's like, I had a bad day. You had a bad day.
I got fired. My wife left and took our little baby daughter with her.
And
And I don't remember because I've been blinding, stinking drunk.
And Frank's like, no, my day's still worse.
Yeah.
Which, come on.
No, it
You
wasn't.
better watch out. Bam!
Yeah, you better not.
Bam! So he's got Frank in point blank range when the elevator door opens and Frank falls inside.
And there's the big guy again. And he's like,
Only
come on.
this time,
He looks inside. I love this.
these
the little
screaming
Muppet souls.
Oh my God.
Did our people do that? We're going to get phone
like,
calls.
right? And he looks up and the face is a TV screen now.
Oh, shit.
And it reflects his face at certain points,
Like
right?
it's like
and a
static
skull
and whatever. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
And the elevator door opens on this cold gray slanty room.
Slanty shanty. He like slips down this triangular hallway and he sees Grace dressed like an extra in Dune.
And like shoeless and all. I don't know what's
Because
it
they had
can't
to
be
take
that
her
far in the
shoes.
future, 5-10 years.
Right? 'Cause
Calvin's
the kid's
maybe
only
a
little
teenager.
bit bigger.
At the most 13 maybe in that room.
I
mean,
know,
he's
but
sitting.
why does it look like she's in Dune?
I don't know. It's just a possible future.
I guess these are just things that will be or things that are gonna be because
I know the head of pediatrics at NYU. We can get him out of here.
I know. Yeah, we'll get this kid out of here, no problem. And like, then we go and we see Claire wearing so much foundation.
Like, what? Fancy ladies don't put white cake clown makeup on when they go to their fancy brunches. Like,
How do
why
you
was
know?
her? I know, as if I know fancy rich ladies. But like that aged her. I mean, it was good at aging her because that made her look
it's like
a good
a
20 years
though,
older.
So I mean,
yeah.
you know, it's supposed to look awful.
So she's shooing a homeless child from their lunch
Those
table.
filthy little creatures at her luncheon. She's like, don't tell me. I wasted 20 years of my life on those pathetic little things. But finally, somebody said to me, scrape them off, Claire.
And a single tear falls.
Oh, that was a rotten thing to do.
And they arrive in like a sub-basement where James's wife, Wendy, is standing
He's
sadly
like,
by a
"Oh,
coffin.
Shit, it's a crematorium. And he thinks that James is in there, but no.
Because here come James.
There's James.
There
like,
James be.
hey, James. There to James be. And he's like, well, no. Like, if I'm dead, then how can I fix any of this? I can't fix any of this if I'm dead. Like, don't let them burn me, James.
Yeah, suddenly he's inside the casket, banging to get out. I want to
Oh,
live. I'm
shit. He
alive.
catches on fire.
Holy shit, I'm at work.
Yeah.
And Elliot's
I can
still out
breathe
there with
now.
the gun.
But Elliot's like, not for long.
Milkman. What was it? Milkman?
Yeah, he calls him Milkman.
Smooch.
Is that a shotgun in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
He disarms Elliot and celebrates life. Zerberts his belly, raises his salary,
Yep.
puts him in
hired
charge
back,
of programming, gives him an office upstairs.
right? And he's like, what time is it? We didn't miss it. We didn't miss Christmas. We're going to have some fun.
So he's down on the set. Scrooge is ordering the lad to get his goose. So we're right on time. Mm-hmm. It's plot wise.
It is converging.
Elliot breaks into the control room. So this is Elliot bringing him the goose. Elliot's the lad.
I guess.
So the goose he brings him is holding
show.
everybody hostage so that he can do the show.
Saying, this is a huge problem.
And Preston's watching already at home, and he's like, because Frank starts giving his speech about.
Right. He was like, wait, or his wife's like, Frank wasn't supposed to be on the show. Was Frank supposed to be on the show? Like, what's going on here?
Because he's like, what are you doing watching TV on Christmas Eve?
Paying your salary.
What kind of rat bastard would schedule a live program for Christmas Eve?
Only you, Frank.
And Grace comes in concerned, like,
Right, like, oh,
what's
shit.
happening? And he shows off his picture of him and James as boys, and they're also watching.
I know.
And this
then
is where I start to get a little bit.
I know. And he was like, and you're right about almost everything.
Except
The SS Minnow, James.
And they're
like, how
"What?"
did he know?
And Elliot intercepts a call from Preston.
Right. He calls this.
Who's the idiot who put Frank on the air?
It was Bryce.
But he's tied up.
Yeah.
Oh, and he just called you a flagellating butthead.
A butthead. And then he kicks a cat.
And he said, I never felt this way about a man before, but he really felt a certain way about you.
Right. And like, I really don't think that after this, Elliot's getting this job.
We'll see.
I mean, like, Elliot's going to jail, right? Like, I don't think Frank's going to keep his job. Like, I don't think that
I don't know.
Rhinelander was like, had the.
I bet
joyous
Frank went and
season.
worked for the shelter after this.
Really?
I don't know. That's supposed to be the thing,
I
right?
mean, I
Scrooge
guess
becomes
so,
nice now.
But like, for how long? Are you fucking kidding me?
Well,
For how long?
he orders
He's gonna get so
champagne
sick of
for
that shit.
250 people, the good
Right.
stuff.
Not the kind
stuff.
I send to other people, the kind he sent to me.
And so Elliot accidentally shoots out the window to the, whatchamacallit, control room.
And that is why he goes to jail.
You heard him party!
Yeah!
It's all right. You got a party hardy, Marty.
Yeah.
And he goes over to the solid gold dancer with the mistletoe on her
Yep,
hat.
it's like a law. I have to kiss her on the lips.
And then the censor gets an idea
Oh shit, she's
to molest her Bryce. Poor Bryce, all
I
tied up.
know. I mean, like the
Like, he's
guy's a
annoying,
dick,
but like he didn't do nothing to nobody.
no, he didn't
He's
like
just doing
deserve
his
to
job.
be assaulted. Yeah, he's just trying to climb.
But
the
she had a
ladder
head
like
injury.
everybody.
I'll give her that. Maybe she was concussed. She didn't know better. She was
Okay.
out of it.
Okay.
Maybe they gave her some pain meds. I don't know.
Okay. She's all geeked out on pain medication.
But Frank tells the camera there's only been one great.
Yes, that was good, but it wasn't great. It's the only one, the gal I still love.
The girl I wish I was with tonight. Claire.
Oh,
Everyone at the shelter goes wild.
Yeah. She goes down and grabs a cab, and it's Buster Poindexter. Can you get me to the studio in 3 minutes?
Which floor?
Which floor?
And at this point, I'm crying. I
I
wrote,
know,
I'm
like,
crying now.
Not yet for me. So they sing and they cheer, and he speeches, and for a couple hours we could be the people that we wish we could be. And I get it now. Like, I've had the miracle. It happened for me. It can happen for you if you believe, and it can happen every day. And if it happens every day, you'll want it every day of your life. And I believe it now.
Have a
I'm
Merry
ready.
Christmas.
Ah.
And then little Calvin runs up.
Oh, now I might start crying.
Did I forget something, big man?
Mm-hmm.
God bless us, everyone. He picks him up and pinches his little cheek.
Oh, and why is everybody fucking shocked that this kid is speaking? Nobody knows.
I mean, the people who work for IBC might know, but not the actors. So, like, the people on set might know she has a kid that's mute and something terrible happened to her, but Buddy Hackett and Jamie Farr are not like, oh, the boss's assistant Grace's son, who was a mute, is now speaking again?
Their nipples went, bing!
It's a Christmas miracle.
I know. Oh, that's how I had to say some shit. I had to talk some shit to keep me from crying because I'll be like, oh, his little face. He's so cute.
He's adorable.
And then we're putting a little love in our hearts. I hate that
Claire
fucking song.
peeks out from behind the camera.
Oh, and then he brings her out in front of the camera. Claire, the whole world, Claire.
Puts on the mistletoe top hat.
And they lived happily ever after.
And everyone kisses and hugs. And we put a little love in our hearts.
And Frank looks up and sees the ghost. And Herman, who I guess dies anyway, probably in the fucking sewer, is at the sing-along.
Well, that was the Christmas present ghost. Well, there was nothing he could do about that.
I guess.
That wasn't Christmas future.
I mean, I guess, but he's just gonna, okay, fine. He seemed happy enough as a corpse.
Lesson.
I do really like the little Muppet spirits of the damned
that are eating and stuff.
I
and
love
singing.
that they get something.
They get something.
I love that they get a little something. And the cops have still not arrived. Has nobody?
Nobody's called the cops.
Not
no.
even Preston? Like what?
No, because he's into it now. He's dancing with his wife.
I guess.
He's into the message.
I guess.
And then at some point, Frank looks at the camera during the closing credits and says, "Feed me, Seymour." I don't know what was that about.
He was in it.
I know, but was that like was that the same year or something?
I think that was the same year.
And so it was just a reference.
No, that was 86.
Interesting. I wonder why.
Because remember
he said
when
that.
we did the 86 podcast or whatever, and we had to pick our favorite movie from that year?
Oh.
That was 86. So he had been in it.
So yeah, he talks to the audience through the main credits.
He breaks the fourth wall talking about have this side sing, just the men, just the women's.
And then you see James.
My brother, the king of Christmas. Like this one time, like he's concussed. He's had like they're going to call somebody.
Well, the whole point of the story, The Christmas Carol, is he's a changed man now. He learned his lesson in one night.
I know. I wish it would happen. It would be nice.
He was just scared for his life.
I know that he's
That's
under duress. That's the only way it can be done.
Yeah.
You can't just ask nicely.
No.
You have to haunt a motherfucker to get him to act right.
A rich man.
There's the only way. It's the only way.
Well, you know when Jeff Bezos recently
That's
said
what I'm
was
saying. He was visited
away.
by some ghosts. It's the Christmas season.
3 ghosts came. Mm-hmm. So what did this movie doom us? I mean, it's a Christmas Carol. It doomed us
it's
to love
about
ghost
ghosts.
stories
It's
at Christmas.
supposed to be like a spooky. That's what I like about Christmas. I like the spooky.
Because it used to be traditionally, right? That you told
it was
ghost
like ghost
stories on
and
Christmas
shit.
Eve.
Yeah. And like the Christmas Carol's about ghosts. There's ghosts and shit. Bless you.
Liana just burped so loud.
Christmas blessings.
I don't know if y'all heard that, but it was
Might
pretty
have
loud.
a little bit. I heard it a little bit. But yeah, it's about fucking ghosts and shit.
Fucking ghosts and
Fucking
shit, baby.
ghosts and shit, baby.
So once again, we have no yearbook signings.
It is barren as Christmas. Yes. Yes. That time when they had the blizzard.
No
when
voicemails.
Rudolph had to come.
No texts. No emails.
Who wants to be
no
our Rudolph?
Apple reviews.
That we can manipulate into saving our Christmas.
Give us a Merry Christmas, y'all.
Give us a happy holiday. Give us a happy Hanukkah.
Whatever you celebrate, tell us happy that. Who gives a fuck what we celebrate?
Because we really don't.
We don't care.
No, we don't.
We celebrate President's Day. So whatever
we
you
celebrate
want to tell.
consumerism. We went over this last year.
Yes.
I know we did.
We celebrate consumer
We're doing
Christmas
movies because those were most prevalent and those were the ones that we watched.
Those are our Christmas traditions.
Yes.
Is watching Christmas movies, food,
Yes.
eating food that's delicious and bad for you.
Oh, yes. I love
And
to eat. I love
giving
to
and
celebrate the
receiving
gluttony.
gifts.
I love to celebrate the gluttony. I love to celebrate the gifting.
I like to get high, put on
Yes.
some Christmas movies, wrap some gifts, craft
Yes.
some gifts, eat some whatever, any kind of Christmas
Just
treats.
Treats. Exactly. That's the word.
Treats.
Treats.
Treat yourself,
Treat
Doomers.
yourself this holiday season.
And we'll
all
be
of y'all.
back at you next week with another version of
Yes.
A Christmas Carol.
We're gonna actually, you know what? The time travel thing kind of makes sense. So,
Right?
there
There's
you
time
go.
travel in A Christmas
There's
Carol.
a little
so
bit of, it's a Christmas past, present, future, right now, maybe a little bit later. I don't
suspend
know.
your disbelief.
Just go with it, okay?
And until then.
Later, doomers.